Now, I come from a very different background of most of you. You're mostly business companies, industry. I come from an academic background. As you might know, I'm leading now the Department of Electrical Engineering and Computing Science department at RIT Dubai. And in addition to that, I'm leading the AI research group and the AI robotics lab. So I'm quite on different frontiers at RIT Dubai. So you might wonder why I'm here. If I'm teaching, doing research, how is it related to business? And well, you all know that a POC starts from academia, from students. And usually academia is connected and supporting industry and business, because many of these brilliant ideas come from universities, from the students. And we work really hard on a lot of projects that can be easily implemented and deployed for businesses. Many of our projects turn into spin-offs or startups, quite successful ones. And I've been mentoring many of these projects with my students who became very successful entrepreneurs, having successful entrepreneurship and startup companies. Now, I would like to introduce my research team. As I mentioned, I'm leading the AI research group. And in this group, you can see several members, expert in different fields. So we have faculty members who are active working on AI in their own field of expertise. It could be communications, it could be energy, it could be smart cities. Healthcare is one of them, and I'm very active in doing research, applying AI in healthcare. And this is our website. You could see one of the pillars as part of our research is healthcare. And we do also have a lot of other pillars like cybersecurity, energy, blockchain, mobility, data science, communications, and so on. So for today, I would really like to talk about how we apply AI in healthcare and what are the limitations when it comes to ethical considerations. We might be very enthusiastic and excited about the promise of AI in healthcare, especially reaching out to the world, especially to those in remote areas not being able to access modern medicine and advanced healthcare systems. And with the promise of AI, we are very optimistic to have this accessible to everyone in the world. So we have this kind of equity where everyone has the right to have good healthcare support and system. And this is available and accessible through AI. As you can see, currently we're talking about AI-powered virtual health assistants and chatbots, AI in preventive medicine and early disease detection, AI for personalized drug development and precision medicine, AI for automating medical imaging and radiology. So all of these use cases are very promising, and we can see that the industry or the business in healthcare is going at an exponential increase in applications, in profits. However, with these promises and these opportunities come a lot of challenges. And mainly these challenges are related to the ethics of using AI in healthcare. Because we're talking here about death and life. It's not anymore about if the business company will be successful or not implementing its strategy using AI. But here it's about an individual being able to survive a disease or to die from a diagnostic that was provided by the AI. How reliable is it? What do we consider as criteria if we would like to consider ethics as part of AI applications in healthcare? And this is what I'm going to be talking about today. So when we talk about AI ethics in healthcare, we basically talk about social, ethical, legal issues related to the use of AI in medicine, and these remain unresolved. And we'll see why today. We'll see what are these challenges. This means that using AI should always be supervised by a practitioner, by a physician. We cannot give full control to AI in medicine, so this has to be supervised, monitored all the time by the healthcare system, the humans in the healthcare systems. And again, as I mentioned, these challenges present a lot of barriers to the adoption of AI tools in clinical practice, because the decisions given by AI are decisions about life and death. So can we trust a machine? If the machine gives us a diagnosis of a cancer, do we trust what the AI is diagnosing? Do we follow the treatment recommended by an AI chatbot, for example, or an AI application? And most importantly, if we want to overcome these challenges, it's very important to give the trust of the use of AI in medicine by urgently engaging all the stakeholders involved in this implementation of AI. This includes providers, patients, AI developers, and the regulatory bodies. They have to work together to be able to make this possible. Practitioners cannot do it alone. AI engineers or scientists cannot do it alone. And patients cannot do it alone, and the regulatory bodies as well need this holistic collaboration. I'll give you some examples about how AI is being used currently. I would say many of these are part of research, but quite some of them have been implemented in medicine. But you can see that I'm referring to some research articles. For example, breast cancer. It has been found that AI, when it's used, is able to give better screenings than those given by practitioners. So the detection rate, for example, was 17.6% higher in the AI group. And this is for 2,881 of the women in the study. The 17.6% is a quite high percentage to detect cancer. And this might save a lot of women with breast cancer. That's another application using AI. And again, this is from one of the research magazines. An AI system identified a potential new drug in just 46 days. So this is a team from AI Pharma startup, and they've been working with researchers at the University of Toronto. So as you could see, researchers from universities, if they work really well with the industry, they can provide very efficient solutions. And here, they used AI to design a potential new drug for fibrosis in just 46 days, which is a process that typically takes years. So that's another promising solution for fibrosis, for example, in this case. That's another one. Google DeepMind AI system can diagnose eyes disease, and it shows that it works, it's efficient. And here I gave some statistics. So it can diagnose over 50 eye diseases from a single scan, matching expert ophthalmologist accuracy. By the way, I heard last day that, for example, a radiologist will not exist anymore very soon. Because with AI, they can diagnose a lot of image scannings like X-ray, ultrasound, MRI, and many more. Some chatbots are being used for mental health, and they've been proved to be very efficient. They are able to support emotionally, and to provide stress management techniques. Some examples are WISA and WUBOT. And again, I'm providing some sources for all this information. So we can see that AI is an efficient tool in medicine based on the research, but we need to justify the use of AI, and especially in decision-making. And we need to consider different criteria in different terms. The best interest of patients, if we want to use it, we have to keep as a priority the best interests of the patients. The autonomy of the patient, very important. We cannot force it on the patient. The patient has to approve following the treatment of an AI instead of a human. So autonomy is very important, and the benefit of all patients. So if I want to talk about the key ethics principles that should be applied for AI systems in any business, not necessarily healthcare, but I'm going to show you some of these key points as part of the research I do with my students and my research team. We can talk essentially about 6 key points for any AI tool used for any business. And I start with transparency. AI cannot be a black box. The ones who use AI need to understand what underlies behind the AI algorithm, how it works, what kind of decision it makes, what kind of data is used. So the whole pipeline, from the data to the decision making, should be very clear to the user. Because let's take an example for a practitioner using an AI tool. If the practitioner doesn't understand how this AI tool, it cannot validate the decision made by the AI tool for the patient. So it's very important, this transparency, and I'll talk about it later on. Autonomy, again, I mentioned that users should have the right to be informed about decision made by the AI. The practitioner cannot just give a decision made by the AI without informing the patient. So the patient has the right to know that this decision has been made by the AI, and the patient needs to have the right to adopt this decision or not. Privacy is very important. I think everyone is talking about that critical issue. All of this data collected from customers, from users, from patients in this case, need to stay private. Those who work in research, they know very well when they want to publish results related to human data, they need to prove that the data has been private, and if there are any images that need to be displayed in the publication, images of people should be blurred to keep them private. So this is also another concept that I will cover later on. Equity. We have to make sure that when we use AI, it has to be accessible to everyone, not just to a category of users. And same thing in healthcare systems, we have to make sure that when we develop or deploy an AI tool for healthcare, it can be used by all patients equally. And that's why I'm saying, like, with the use of AI, we are able to reach everyone in the world, even those who are in remote area, as long as we can provide them with the needed technology. And it's way more costly, way more efficient on the cost level than accessing a hospital and getting diagnosed by practitioners or by doctors. So we need to make sure we have this equity. Validation is another key point. AI systems have to undergo rigorous testing for reliability. So an AI tool cannot be deployed without rigorously being tested. And lastly, we have to make sure that it complies with the legal frameworks that govern ethics, which is something really essential and important. Okay, back to some use cases that I selected for you today. They are part of the research I've been working on. And these are some of the partners that are working with us on this research. And definitely, as you can see, These partners are part of the healthcare system, starting with the Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Science. We've been working on a lot of research with them. They provide with the data, with the expertise related to the medical part. We provide the technology and the solution, the code, the program, the machine learning. We also work with Circum MedTech Pharma, which is a pharmaceutical company, and Women in AI, which I'm a member of this society. I'm heading the research and education part of it, have been supporting us with one of our research topics, which is cervical cancer. So I'll be also talking about this. Right, I chose for you today 4 use cases. I'm going to go over them very quickly to make sure I don't exceed my time. The first use case is non-invasive brain interaction. This is my team of students. As you can see, we've been in the headlines of the newspapers, and we came up with a device that captures the brain signals for patients who can't speak and can display some keywords to support them. These keywords can be displayed on a screen or can be texted or messaged to a healthcare system. Some of these keywords are, for example, help, I'm hungry, keywords that show that the patient is in high need of someone to support. So the idea is we start collecting the data from the brain signals. We had volunteers who gave us the needed data from the students, from the faculty. And after that, we've been processing the data, doing cleaning, training some machine learning models, testing, validating, analyzing the data. We also had an avatar interface that speaks on behalf of the patient, saying the word that he needs to say. So in addition to the brain signals, we've been able also to combine other biosignals like the motion of, or the movement of the eyes. So we've been capturing EEG from the brain and EOG from the eyes, combine them together to detect some patterns from the brain and from the eyes, and that could help us detect the word that the patient is thinking of. So this could be, for example, used for patients who have locked-in syndrome or paralysis. We have 50 individuals. We chose an age range from 18 to 63 years. Educational background covered bachelor degree to PhDs. So we made sure to have a diversity in our data set. And these are the words that we tried to detect from stop, medication, sleep, hungry, thirst, start, help, pain, cold, and hot. So we've been able to validate the system, and it gave us a good accuracy, so I'm not going to be displaying the research results because this is not a scientific forum, it's rather a business forum. But what I would like to talk about here is the ethics behind, the ethical consideration behind this specific use case. So here, if you notice about the data set, we try to have a data set that can consider equity, meaning considering all different types of participants, from gender to age to cultural background. Because this is very important. If you'd like your AI to really be efficient for anyone who uses it, you have to have a diverse data, unbiased data, being able to cover all the different categories from the users. We respected the autonomy of the participants, so they had to sign a form, and we had the approval of the IREP committee, which is the research ethical board. So the volunteers were approving being part of this experimentation, so there was autonomy here. no one was forced to go through the experimentation. We protected the privacy of the data collected by these devices, and we validated these BCI systems for safety and reliability. But again, this is a POC. Keep in mind, for implementation and deployment for a healthcare entity, this needs further validation, further testing on a way larger data set. The next use case is sepsis detection and prevention. And that was in collaboration with Circum MedTech, which is a pharmaceutical company. This is the team of the students who have been working with me. And as you could see, they were developing a smart sepsis sniffer that incorporates a smart central venous catheter to help predict sepsis and improve patient care and medical interventions. It was using AI technology in this case, and we had to collect a lot of data here. So just here, a background about why sepsis is important to be detected early. As you can see, like 1.7 million people in the US had sepsis, and this is lethal, like people immediately die from having sepsis, and this happens usually during medical surgeries, and it's the third leading cause of death. And you can see some statistic here why it's very important to detect at an early stage sepsis. So for our case, we had to collect, again, data. And as you can see, data is the fuel of all these AI tools. Without data, we can't do anything. So we were collecting some parameters from the blood, like the pulse rate using oximeter, the heart rate, blood pressure, and so on. And this is the dashboard that the students have created, where practitioners and patients could have a real-time tracking of all these different biosignals, and at the same time, there is a prediction of the possibility of having sepsis or not. So kind of an alert will happen, and practitioners could be able to help the patient before this happens and lead to the death of the patient. Again, what are the ethical considerations we considered here? Again, respect for patient autonomy. This is very important because you want the patient to have the freedom to make the decision of using AI or not. Privacy of patient information. Equitable access to smart catheter technology is very important, so this should be shared with everyone. And ongoing validation of the device should ensure reliability and safety. A third case is early pathology detection. This is, again, this is a publication that we've done, and we called our AI app ServiScan. It can detect cervical cancer through deep learning models early, and this is a collaboration, again, with MBRU and Women in AI. These are some statistics about cervical cancer, and this is the forecasted market size for 2032 in US dollars. The market will grow by 35% related to software solutions, hardware, and services related to AI in the oncology market. So this is specifically for the oncology market. And you can see the growth is really high by 2032. And the main objective of this research is that in 2012, 8 million women were not screened in the last 5 years. So this have led to 7 out of 10 women not screened, not having the capability to access screening. And this has led to unscreened cervical cancer. And definitely, like, there are a lot of other screening opportunities that could have been missed for different kind of categories leading to cervical cancer, like normal cervical cells, HPV infection, and pre-cancer leading to cervical cancer. Why they haven't been screened? Because of financial burden. That was one main reason. Because many of them just found out that they have cervical cancer at a late stage, so the diagnosis came very late. And you can see many of the factors contributing to non-diagnosing at an early stage. This is the framework that we have offered, that we have suggested. And I'm showing here the traditional method of cancer identification and the one that we are proposing, which is based on machine learning. So the traditional one, usually, they take a culture sampling, they do observation, they do additional testing, they do a checklist, data collection again, manual data analysis, and then they give you back the answer probably within several weeks. With Surviscan, it's an immediate answer. So usually, we collected the data set of images taken from the culture sampling. We used deep learning, we fine-tuned, we avoided overfitting, we trained our model, we integrated AI as part of a dashboard of a software, and we had immediate prediction of cancer identification. So the app should look something like that, where you have detailed report. And here, the ethical considerations that we have considered, again, the AI should clearly explain which biomarkers have been used, the risk factors that influence the prediction of cervical cancer risk. Again, patient privacy should be protected at all stages, and we work on that with MBRU for this purpose. The AI model should be trained on diverse data set, and here let me give you a very small example about the importance of this diversity in data set. Many of the data sets that have been used for AI applications, they don't consider, for example, pregnant women or elderly people. So most of the data set focus on young people, non-pregnant women. So they miss presenting these specific cases in the data set. And therefore, when this AI tool is used for pregnant women or for elderly people, it doesn't give the right answer or it doesn't give the right decision. So that's why, again, the data set is very important, and regular validation of the tools for diagnostic accuracy is essential. This is the last use case I chose for you today, and it's still an ongoing research, by the way. The previous ones, we have already published them. This is an ongoing one, and it's very interesting because we're using machine learning to detect the pain level objectively. And then we're using VR headset and avatar, a virtual environment, to alleviate the pain of the patient. Now, probably you did a diagnostic with practitioners or physicians. They ask you rate your pain level from 0 to 10, right? How accurate is that, you think? This is very subjective. Even if you are asking a child will not be able to answer if a child is in pain. If you ask some elderly people, if they are in pain, they cannot identify the level of pain between 0 and 10. So this is the scope of this work. How can we identify objectively the pain level and use that to help the patient by creating a virtual environment that will alleviate the pain without even the use of morphine, for example, or any kind of medicine. This is the team I'm working with. And you can see the technology is again using the brain signals by using an EEG headset. It can detect the data from the brain, process it, and classify it into the different pain levels. So this is some of the data that we have been using. Collect the data coming from the brain, record them, and based on that, we identified 4 different classes: no pain, mild pain, moderate pain, and severe pain. This is the virtual environment that will be displayed based on the pain level. And this is the avatar that will be talking to the patient and trying to have this conversation where it will give instructions for breathing and some mental support. The last ethical consideration I would like to talk about here for this specific use case, again, transparency, privacy of data, equity, and validation. These are the 4 main key points that I'm repeating again for this specific use case. So in conclusion, as you can see, AI continues to evolve and to advance. It's bridging a lot of the gaps in healthcare. It's improving the patient outcomes. We're seeing a lot of good, groundbreaking medical research. So healthcare can be AI-powered. However, we have to be careful about the limitations related to ethics. So the future of healthcare will depend on the ethical AI implementation, I will say. So let's add this word, ethical, not just AI implementation. And we need to have all stakeholders be engaged in the implementation of the ethical AI. This is a must. And in this case, the future of healthcare would be very promising if we combine the power of AI and the ethical considerations. The combination of both would give this miracle solution for the healthcare system. Thank you so much. This is my presentation for today.